Hey everyone, this is Faisal. I wanted to do this week's video on challenging times, and for whoever shows up here, hopefully you stay here. You're gonna learn a lot of things from this video. The reason I wanted to do this video was because I've been seeing a lot of people around me, and actually I have been going through some challenges in life myself, and I wanted to give you guys some tips on how to deal with the challenging times in your life. And it's a very difficult thing to answer because people go through so many different challenges in life, difficulties in life, losing a loved one, going through a tough time at work, being in relationships that are not working out or they're challenging at the moment, having financial issues, having problems with yourself, with your thoughts, and having problems with your boss. Could be any number of things, and there are gonna be things that I can't even cover here. Problems with family members. All these things require us to be a certain way, and if we don't know how to deal with life, if we don't have the wisdom, if we don't have the knowledge to deal with things in life, with challenges in life in a better way, then we're going through it in a more difficult way than it should be. So first of all, let's clear something up. Just because you have challenges or you're going through challenges in life, through difficulties in life, doesn't mean it has to be a complete suffering. For many people, they closely associate challenges with suffering. But if you actually start thinking about it yourself or start studying about this, you realize that challenges in life are not necessarily meant to be suffering. Suffering is a very different state. In a state of suffering, you're actually not at peace with yourself. You're not happy. You are in pain. But that's a state of mind. And this is why we have teachers such as Buddha, such as Lao Tzu, such as Jesus, who have taught us that if we take care of our mindset, if we take care of ourselves, and if we know where we're going, if we know what our intentions are, then no matter what challenges come our way, it doesn't have to be suffering. It can be a challenge, but guess what challenges are? You'll find this in every religious scripture. You'll find this being said by every teacher in history about making yourself into a better person or creating a better life for yourself. They will tell you this, that challenges are a way for you to grow. They're not the means for you to suffer. They're the means for you to grow. So you have to really sit down and consider this, and you're gonna get it only if you actually do this yourself. And you will realize after a while of sitting down and thinking about this is that every challenges that you have, every difficulty that you've gone through has helped you grow as a person. It hasn't. The only reason you've suffered is because you've had a mindset of creating that suffering within. Only because you've been taught by the society you've lived in that challenges that you're surrounded by, they can be suffering. And sometimes they can be suffering, but we can start to master ourselves. We can start to master our own lives. And by doing that, we can start to face the challenges in our life with more enthusiasm. And when we have the intention to grow, then we can look for it. Whenever we're going through a difficult time, whether it be a difficulty in relationship or at work or financial or dealing with family members or health problems, we can look at it and think, what am I supposed to learn in this process? And you would have to have that intention to grow, because there are people who go through a lot of challenges in life that do not grow. It's an opportunity for you to grow, but it's not given that you will grow because of that challenge. Because there are people that go through challenge after challenge, difficulty after difficulty, but they do not grow, only because they are not open to receiving the lessons. So that's tip number 1. So let me give you another tip. So first of all, you needed to have that intention to grow, and look at challenges as a way for you to grow and become stronger, become wiser, and become more knowledgeable about life, about yourself, so that you can create a better life after going through that challenge. Second one, and it's nice sunset behind me too. The second one you can think about, second tip that I can give you is that if you think back to all the difficult times you've gone through, you've gone through it, and you're here. And I'm sure if you're an adult who has created their own life, who's responsible, who has taken charge of their life to some extent, they've gone through a lot of challenges in life, and you've gone through all of them, and you will realize that when you're in the middle of a challenge, in the middle of a difficult period, it seems a lot worse than it actually is, because you're right in the middle of it. And this is where we have to understand that almost every difficult period that we go through, we have to be very careful with our focus. And for that, let's go to point number 3. You have to keep your perspective. You have to know that just because you're going through a financial trouble doesn't mean your relationships are not better. You could have great relationships, but just because you're going through financial problems, you completely ignore those, and guess what? You're damaging that aspect of your life as well. Or you're going through a relationship problem, but every other aspect of your life is great. Your health is great, your finances are great, your work is great, so don't lose sight of them. So whenever you're going through those difficult times, make sure you remember to pay attention to the positive in your life as well. Be open to gratitude. Be open to be thankful to those areas of your life. And you'll find that it'll give you a better perspective in life. It'll give you a more clear perspective about what you're going through. Because as soon as you get focused on the negative, you'll find that you get pulled into it and you start to focus everything else out in your life. So you have to be very, very conscious and intentional about it. Remind yourself of all the good things in your life, even if there is a challenging time that you're going through, even if you're dealing with death in your family, with your loved ones. Remember that there are other parts of your life that are going great, and do not lose sight of those parts of your life. So that was tip number 3. Number 4, let's consider that most people that go through challenges, they don't express themselves properly. They don't go talk to their loved ones and seek their guidance. And even if there's no guidance, seek to be heard, because one of the important aspects of happiness is to be heard by somebody, to express yourself and when somebody hears you, it's a huge relief. You feel like you're connected. You're not the only one holding the burden. And we all walk around with huge bags of burden on our shoulders, on our backs, because we think we have to deal with challenges in life alone, because nobody else is equipped to help us. And if you don't have anybody positive or somebody First of all, I'm sure almost everyone will have somebody who will be able to hear them, but if you don't, there are other ways. You can go find social groups, community groups that you can go express yourself to. And if you need more help, go seek a coach, a therapist, somebody who does this professionally. They're trained, they have the knowledge to help you out, to listen to you. And a lot of people actually do their sessions, the first session, to just listen to you and find out what your problem is for free, or they do it for a small fee. So don't be afraid to seek help, because we all need help. We're not meant to deal with everything on our own, especially when you're going through a grievous a period of time where you're grieving. And that will truly help you out, and that's something that took me a long time to learn, to realize that I need to seek help. And I've trained myself, even though I'm not used to it, to whenever I'm in a period of time where I can't deal with my problems, or I'm working through too many things, I go make it an intention to go talk to somebody who would hear me out, who would just listen to me, or even give me some guidance. Even though I'm a coach, but I do that. So let's talk point number 6. A lot of times when we're going through difficult times, one of the things that people do, especially in the Western world, is that they just run away from their problems. Instead of facing them, they have a tendency to just turn on the TV and lie down on the couch or wherever and just keep watching shows over and over, or play games, or whatever they do, which is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. For a period, you can go for 1, 2, 3 days, you can go ahead and not do anything because you're not able to deal with the challenge right now, or you're not mentally ready, emotionally ready. But if this becomes a consistent thing, then you're running away from life. And when you do this often, guess what it turns into? A mild problem, a challenge that can be dealt with. It turns into stress turns into anxiety, that turns into depression. And unless you start dealing with your emotions, unless you start dealing with the problems that you have in your life, then it's not going anywhere. So you might as well accept the fact that you have to deal with it. So one of the most important things that I've learned personally, aside from help and gratitude and the other things that I mentioned, was that I actually, when I started to learn how to deal with my challenges myself, I would wake up every day and sit down and start my day, and I still do that, by the way. I start my day with gratitude. I start to think about the things that are great in my life, the relationships that I'm in, my work, my health, everything that I'm grateful for and happy for. I remember those consciously, and then I think through my challenges, think through my goals. So if you're going through a challenge, then sit down and think about it. Have the intention to find a solution. And a lot of times when you create that intention, when you become when you become intentional about finding a solution, you will find it, because there is always solution within you. And a lot of people don't want to find it. And that's a really beautiful sunset behind me too. So hopefully you're enjoying that. You're not really seeing my face, but rather you see the sun right now, because it's really nice. So sit down with yourself, whether it takes an hour, 2 hours. Put away your phone, put away all distractions, in a quiet room. Sit down, breathe deeply, and think about the challenges you have. You can even take a pen and paper, write down your challenges, and think about some ideas to overcome the challenges. For example, if you're going through relationship problems, what are some of the things you can do? You can go talk to your loved one or spouse. You can try to resolve it that way. If that's not working, you can go talk to somebody about it around you who would give you some guidance. If that's not working, go find a professional, find a therapist, go to a relationship therapist. There are other people who can help you. Same with your work. If you have challenges with your work that you don't like, you're not progressing enough, or you don't like the work environment, how can you resolve that? You sit down by trying to figure out if you can make your work more enjoyable, if you can talk to your boss for a different position, or if you can change the department, or you can find a new job, or you can find a completely different career. But if you need guidance, sit down, start with yourself. If you can't resolve it, go get knowledge, information, go get guidance, go get professional help if you have to. But don't sit around and hope or expect the answer to just fly to you, because it's not going to happen. A lot of people spend most of their lives waiting around for somebody to save them without an intention to save themselves. So try that as well. And I think that would be all. So let me see if I can remember them, because I just came up with all of them in my head. I'll try to remember all of them once, so I review it for you. So the first one was to remember that difficult times don't last forever, and they seem more challenging when you're in them. Actually, that was the second one. The first one, well, I won't remember the numbers, but I'll keep reviewing what I remember. And another one was that don't ever lose perspective in life. Pay attention to the good things in your life. Just because you're going through a challenging time, a difficult time, doesn't mean you should forget the good things in your life. Whether that be your health, your income, your work, your relationships, whatever it is, always keep being aware of the good things in your life, even if you are going through one or two challenges in your life. And another thing was so that was for gratitude, being aware of the blessings that you have. And another thing that I mentioned was that you have to remember to get guidance, be open to getting help in your social environment, or from somebody in your community, or from somebody who is a professional who works in that area. Or watch videos like this. This will help you as well. But you need another person to listen to you, and that helps you a lot. I sit with my coaching clients quite a bit, and a lot of times, even if I'm not contributing too much, I realize at the end of it, when I ask them, what did you like about the session? What they realize is that just being heard, just somebody just sitting there and listening to them, made a huge amount of difference for them. And that's what a lot of therapists do, to be honest. And another point I mentioned was that sit down with your thoughts and feelings with a pen and paper. Start with being grateful to everything around you and in your life, and then sit down to write down your challenges that you're going through, and create an intention to find a solution. And when you do this often, you will realize that slowly but surely you will start to pull yourself away from the difficult time. And one last thing that I mentioned was that have the intention to find the growth. Actually, that was the first one, to find a lesson in what you're going through, because almost every challenge that you're going through, that has a lesson associated with it. And unless you're open to learning that lesson, you're not going to learn it. And this is why not everybody grows. Just because they're getting older doesn't mean they have grown emotionally and mentally. Unless a person is open to learning, they're not gonna learn their lessons. So remember these points, and for more training like this, for more insightful thoughts like this, go to my website, faisalinsan.com. I'm also gonna post this video on my YouTube as well in a proper way. If you have a laptop, you might have to tilt it, which you can't do that with a laptop, but I'll repost it probably by tomorrow. And I look forward to hearing what you think about this. So you can post your comments below, or if you're on my YouTube channel, you can post your comments there too, ask any questions, and I'd love to answer any questions that you have, or any comments, any insights you want to give us. That'd be great. Thanks for listening to this, and I hope you enjoyed this week's episode, and I look forward to doing another episode next week. You have a great day. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.